Yeah, it was a tough match. I had leads, lost it, and, serving for it. So it was a lot of emotional, I guess, challenges in the match. But I think I did a good job of staying focused, and I'm just really proud of myself today.
All right, thank you very much. Name and affiliation, one question each. We have a big room. Try to get to as many people as possible as I can. Brian?
Brian Lewis, New York Post. You talked about some of those emotional challenges. Just how challenging was it to have a 50-minute delay? You have no idea why it's going on or how long it's going to be. Just talk about the difficulty, I guess, in resetting after that.
Yeah, it was a bit challenging because it's not like a typical delay, so we didn't know how long it was going to take. We were talking to the supervisor and security, and they could say it could be as quick as 5 minutes or as long as an hour. So it was tough to figure out how, if we should stay warm or conserve energy. After like 10 minutes of waiting off the inside, I decided to change my clothes and eat a bar. But it's life, it happens. And so I was just trying my best to keep the momentum that I had going from winning the first set in the first game.
Chris?
Coco Gauff with US Open. Congrats.
Thanks.
Watched your interview with Chrissy on the ESPN set, and you were talking about the Roland Garros final last year, and you said you don't think you believed in yourself then. Clearly you do now. Can you talk a little bit about the evolution of your self-belief?
Yeah, I think, playing that match, I don't know, the whole tournament felt like a surprise to me. I don't think I wasn't expecting the final here either. But I just think then, I was really winning and just relieved that I made it to a final because so many people expected a lot of things from me. And, I think I just didn't really believe that I had it in me, especially at the time playing Iga, who was on a win streak and everything. But this time around, been focusing more on myself and my expectations of myself and, not going on social media or listening to people who believe that I can or believe that I can't. So I've just been really focusing on myself. So I really believe that now I have the maturity and ability to do it. And, regardless of what happens on Saturday, I'm really proud of how I've been handling the last few weeks.
Matt?
Hi, Coco. Matt Futterman from the New York Times. Can you sort of take us inside your head during that 40-shot rally and what's going on there when you're going through a point like that?
Yeah, I knew that I knew a long point like that was honestly in contention and was coming. Just the way that game was going, and obviously we both, missed some shots like going for it. I missed one of those match points going for a foreign winner. So I think, we were both just trying our best to stay in it. And then at that point where you're like 20 shots in the rally, it's tough to go for a winner sometimes because, you're not as fresh on energy and everything as before. And, I knew that I could outlast that rally. I knew I had the legs and the lungs to outlast her in a rally. It was whether I had the mentality and patience to do it. So yeah, after like 10 or 15 shots in, I was like, well, this is going to change the match. And I knew that if I could win that rally, I felt like that next match point was going to go my way because I don't think she could have did back-to-back rallies like that. So I knew that next match point, if I were to win, she was definitely going to go for a winner or miss. And that's what happened.
Willie?
Billie Weinbaum from ESPN. Congratulations, Coco. Madison is up a set and a break and is late in the second set. Assuming for the moment that your opponent will be Madison Keys, what do you make of the significance of the matchup, and what do you think will be the keys to the match for you?
Yeah, I mean, she's a great player. She hits, can hit winners from all areas of the court. So I think for me, it's going to be focusing on my side of the court and trying my best to be aggressive when I can. And yeah, I think that for the if it were All-American matchup, it would be really cool for American tennis in general. The last time that happened was actually when she was in the final and I was in the final of juniors. So that's would be a crazy kind of moment, full circle moment. Would I ever thought that this would have happened then at 13? Probably not. So that would be really cool. And obviously, Maddie is a credible person off the court. I've first met her when I was probably like 13, maybe even younger. So it would be really cool if that were to happen.
All right, back left, Kurt.
Kurt Streeter from the New York Times. Civil disobedience has a very important role in this country in the battle for human rights and environmental justice, right? I believe that this protest tonight was about environmental justice, and you're one who's very astute about these sorts of matters, and I'm wondering how you feel about a protest like this in the semifinals of the U.S. Open.
Yeah, I mean, I think that, you know, throughout history, moments like this are definitely defining moments. And I believe, you know, that I believe in climate change, and I don't really know exactly what they were protesting. I know it was about the environment, and, you know, 100%, you know, believe in that. I think there's things that we can do better. I know the tournaments are doing things to do better for the environment. Would I prefer it not happening in my match? 100%. Yeah, I'm not going to sit here and lie, but, you know, it is what it is. And I knew that I had a feeling it was going to happen this tournament. It happened in French Open and happened in Wimbledon. So, you know, following the trend, it was definitely going to happen here. I just, you know, I was hoping it wasn't in my match. And honestly, I thought we made it through, but it is what it is. I think that, you know, the moments like this, yeah, are history defining moments. And like I said, I prefer it not to happen in my match, but I wasn't pissed at, you know, the protesters. I mean, I know the stadium was, because it just interrupted entertainment. But, you know, I always speak about preaching, preaching about what you feel and what you believe in. And it was done in a peaceful way, so I can't get too mad of it. Obviously, I don't want it to happen when I'm up or winning up 6-4, 1-0. I wanted the momentum to keep going. But hey, that's what they felt that they needed to do to get their voices heard, I can't really get upset at it.
Okay. Ava.
Hi, Coco. Ava Wallace, The Washington Post. I just remember at Wimbledon after that loss, and you talked about being needing to go back to the drawing board, and DC being in the building phase and everything like that. I don't know if that's just kind of where your head was at in the moment, but I'm wondering if 2 months later you feel like being in a place where you're happier with your game happened a little bit quicker than you expected it to this summer.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, definitely after Wimbledon. You know, I wasn't expecting to do well, honestly, in this hard court season. So I'm really proud of the way that I've been able to change this season around for me. I think, honestly, when I had that at Wimbledon, I was really sort of thinking for off season and preparing for the next year. And, you know, I still think I have a lot to improve. But, yeah, 100%, I wasn't thinking those results would happen. And even after DC didn't think this would happen, even after Cincy didn't think this would happen. So, you know, I'm really proud of myself. And like I said, there's still long ways to go. But yeah, I think that I can improve a lot. But, you know, how I've been able to manage with the game that I have now is something that I'm happy with.
Court.
Coco, congrats. I believe it was in the spring, and maybe Madrid or Stuttgart, you were talking about imposter syndrome and feeling like that was something that was you just kind of always had, regardless of your results and fame and all that. And I'm curious now, when you talk about believing in yourself, believing that this might be your time, how those two concepts interrelate. Like, have you shed that completely? Is that still a part of you? Can you talk about that?
Yeah, I think it's still a part of me. I think it's something that I'm doing better with, definitely. You know, even, you know, after DC, you know, I still was like, well, you know, I beat some good people, but, you know, maybe I caught them on an off day. And that's why, and then Cincinnati happened, and then that obviously that one with Iga. And like, even when it happened, I was like, I played great tennis, but, you know, in that moment I was like, well, I caught her on off day. So it's just like things like that I have to remind myself. And then honestly, in today's match, you know, little bit this morning, I was like, that Cincinnati final, I beat her because I felt like she wasn't physically ready to play that final because of the troubles she had. And then I told myself, I looked in the mirror and I was like, no, you're a good player and you can beat her, you know, regardless of her physical standard. And I knew she was obviously going to be much better shape tonight with the day rest. And I told myself, you can do it again. So yeah, it's still definitely a part of me, but I do think that I'm giving myself more credit the more, and it definitely, speaking things into existence is real. So I've been trying to speak more positively of myself and actually telling myself that I'm a great player.
Okay, last two, Darcy and Meredith.
Hi, Coco. Congratulations, Darcy Main from ESPN.com. You were asked a little bit about this on the court tonight, about that match in 2019 against Naomi out there. Does that feel like a lifetime ago in a lot of ways? And also, if you could go back to yourself that night, what would you say to yourself after that?
Oh, it does definitely feel like so long ago. I still see the videos from it, but I don't remember what I said a lot of the times. What would I tell myself? I think before the match, I would tell myself that you put way too much pressure in that moment. I think, after that, it was after Wimbledon, and I remember I think she was defending champion, and like I went into that match like as I was supposed to be the favorite, and social media and everything was expecting so many things from me after Wimbledon, and I had to remember that I wish I would told myself just to enjoy the moment and playing on Ash. And honestly, that whole match I didn't enjoy at all. Like regardless if I was winning games or not, sometimes I would get a game and I remember just being relieved that I got a game and not really bracing it. And then that moment afterwards, I wouldn't change anything about it. I think it touched many people. I tried my best to handle my emotions the best that I could, and obviously she was really sweet allowing me to be a part of that. But yeah, I think pre-match I would tell myself just to enjoy it. And yeah, 3 years later, I think now I'm having way more fun now than I was 3 years ago.
Meredith, last question, please. Thank you.
Hey, Coco, Meredith Cash from Insider. On the court, you said, job's not done yet. Was that a Kobe reference? And you could answer that one first, and then I'll follow up.
Yeah, definitely. He's has an incredible mentality. And, one of the things is when he's up and, the finals, NBA finals, when they're up in the count or 3-1, whatever lead that they have, he doesn't celebrate. He, satisfied, give himself a pat on the back, but he's time to move on. So that's the mentality that I have. I'm trying to enjoy the moment, but also knowing that I still have more work to do. So yes, the finals, incredible achievement, but it's something that I'm not satisfied with yet.